السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله الحمد لله الذي نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله جل رب العزة وعلا وتقدس جلاله تعالى. من اهتدى فلنفسه اهتدى ومن ضل فلنفسه جنى. وعند الصباح يحمد القوم السرى وتنجلي عنهم غيابة الكرى. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله النبي المجتبى وعبد المرتضى صلى الله عليه وعلى أهله مسابيح الدجى وصحابته ليوث الشرى وعلى التابعين ومن تبعهم ما جاد الغيث على الثرى وتفتحت الأنوار بالربا. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء. واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. وقال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه كريم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: إنما المؤمنون الذين آمنوا بالله ورسوله ثم لم يرتابوا وجاهدوا بأموالهم وأنفسهم في سبيل الله أولئك هم الصادقون. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كن في الدنيا كأنك غريب أو عابر السبيل أو كما قال رسول الله. ونسأل الله أن يجعلنا من الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Alhamdulillah, we thank, we praise. All gratitude and all praise is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Lord of the heavens and the earth, the one who created you and I, the one who created everything that we know and everything that which we know not, master of this life and master of the hereafter, the ultimate judge on the day of judgment, the one whom we are all from and the one whom we shall all return to. All praise, all thanks, all gratitude is to Him. We also pray for peace and salutations upon the best human being to ever walk the face of this earth, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and upon his family, his companions, and those who follow him upon the righteous path until the day of Deen. Amen. Alhamdulillah, we have made it to this exact day. We celebrated Eid al-Adha successfully. We have people who were here with us after Ramadan, but were not there with us to celebrate the Eid. And we ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mercy on their souls and make their graves a place of comfort unto the day of Deen. Speaking of Eid al-Adha, we all know the story behind it, of how the mighty prophet Hanif Ibrahim faced one of the biggest tests of his life, where he had to sacrifice someone he loved so much for the pleasure of Allah. But of course, as his name indicates, Hanif, he was ready to give that up just to please Allah. And it's a very nice story. Ismail himself ready to sacrifice himself for Allah as well. There are so many lessons that can be taken from this story. But my brothers and sisters, today I want to remind us, to remind ourselves of one of the most important lessons from that story. And that is the topic of today's talk, and that lesson is sacrifice. The lesson of sacrifice. I am going to keep repeating this question throughout the talk, and hopefully it stays in your mind not only for today but for the rest of your life. What are you willing to sacrifice for the sake of Allah? As people living in New York City, people living in New York itself, people living in the United States of America, you and I both know the energy, the movement, the speed at which business is being conducted in this city. A 12-year-old, somebody in the 5th grade will even tell you, I'm busy, I don't have time. That's New York City for you. I just recently came from New Jersey, just another state away. The place where there's a lot of trees, that side of New Jersey. And walking with people, I just kept looking around, why are you guys walking so slow? Yeah, I don't have somewhere to be, because I was so used to walking in New York City. If you've been to Times Square, you know what I'm talking about. There was a time in Times Square, an old lady was trying to get out from the door. She tripped and fell. Wallahi, I am not exaggerating. People were walking over her because they did not have the time to stop and help the poor lady. People were stepping over her like she was a pile of trash. It does not necessarily make them a bad human being, but that's just the type of time we are living in New York City. So as Muslims, which in the name is indicated, have submitted their will to Allah, have submitted their ultimate choices in life to fit the layout and designed by the greatest of all designers. How do we then strategize? How do we then balance between that which we want to do and that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expects from us? You work from 9 to 5, but you have to pray Dhuhr, Asr and Maghrib. How do we now balance these decisions? My brothers and sisters, and of course I'm speaking to adults, most of you older than me, so you would rather tell me this: life is not easy. So we must not expect these decisions to be a very, easy thing to make. We will have to sacrifice. So then the question comes again: what are you willing to sacrifice for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Like in the ayah I mentioned in the beginning, Allah is expecting us to see, to believe in Him, to believe in the Prophet of Allah, to believe in Rasulullah and what he has left behind for us as an example. And then after that, you fulfill your duties as a Muslim by striving with yourself and your money, or striving with yourself and your wealth. What we can take from this is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already knows that it's not going to be easy. That's why yujahidu, jahid, jihad, this word is used a lot in the Quran to describe how the Muslim will go about his life. Allah knows that this is not going to be a walk to the park. But then the question is, if that is the case, how do you then survive? How do you then make the right choices? Because my brothers and sisters, when we stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment, you cannot tell Allah, I wanted to pray, but I had a meeting at 5. You cannot tell Allah, I wanted to pray Fajr, but I had work at 7 and I didn't get enough sleep. So I then ask the question again: what are you willing to sacrifice for the sake of Allah? And what's beautiful about this question is that I can rephrase it. What are you willing to sacrifice for the sake of your success in the hereafter? Because Allah doesn't need your worship. When we recite Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad. Allah is self-sufficient. If you decide not to pray for one day, you said, you know what? I made dua for this, Allah didn't give it to me, I'm going on strike. I'm not praying for 24 hours. That 24 hours you did not pray, you did not decrease or increase anything on Allah. Allah does not need our worship. On the final moments of this earth, everyone will be destroyed. All the angels, it will be remain with Allah only. Limanil mulkul yawm. Who is the kings of all kings? You will not be there to say, oh, technically you're not a king because I didn't pray to. No. So then we must recognize we're not doing this for Allah. When it is time to pray and you look at the clock, you're not doing that for Allah, you're doing it for yourself. You're doing that so when you stand in front of Allah on the day of judgment, you know you would have a better chance at mercy. At the same time, do not look at yourself. Do not look at how you dress and how you come to the masjid every day and you always pray nawafil and you fast every Monday and Thursday and you already went to Hajj a couple of times, and then you start to feel like, you know what, I think Allah owes me, I've I've been praying 20 years, never missed a prayer. Some of us, we start to get comfortable. I'm a perfect Muslim. I give zakat. Mashallah, I memorize Quran. Don't get comfortable. And do not think that Allah owes you anything. Wallahi, our ability to breathe, every single breath you take is a privilege, is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah does not owe us anything. So we are in a very dire and critical situation. I've mentioned this before. Every single time that your heart beats, the heart asks Allah for permission. Should I continue to give your slave life? Because we all know that the heart pumps blood throughout the body for the body to function normally. The heart stops, the body stops. The heart stops, the brain can't function. Yet every single heartbeat, Allah continues to give you permission to live. Yes, let him live. Let her live. Even during the times you were doing that which Allah did not want you to do. During the times you was lying, when you were stealing, cheating, doing haram, eating haram, drinking haram, making money in illegal haram ways. During that time, in that moment of you doing that action, your heart was beating and Allah was still saying, let my ibad continue to live. Be honest, if you was in control of somebody's life, if you was the one that was providing and taking care of someone, and you asked them to do simple instructions and they refused to do it, would you continue to support them? Don't pay rent for 1 month and see what happens to you. The simple rent of praying 5 times a day, even that some of us are not paying that rent. Yet Allah continues to give us life. So if Allah has blessed us in so many ways, why do we find it difficult to sacrifice little things for the sake of Allah? So then I ask the question again, my brothers and sisters, what are you willing to sacrifice for the sake of Allah? On the day of judgment, we will all be holding our resume, our kitab. And in this resume, in this book, it will have all of the things that we have done in this life. And this is what you are going to present. If this is the case, this is the only piece of evidence you have. Allah has tons of evidence against you. This is the only thing you can show for yourself. If we do not learn to sacrifice for the sake of Allah, then this kitab will not be enough. There are several stories that the Prophet have mentioned. People who have made simple sacrifices, yet not only did they get to go to Jannah, but it placed them on a high level of spirituality among other Muslims. What are you willing to sacrifice for the sake of Allah? Again, I said we live in New York City. I understand. We live busy lives. It takes a lot just to pay these bills. It takes a lot just to keep a roof upon your family's head. It takes a lot just to ensure that the electricity is still running in the house. But then you must ask yourself, some of the things that we are doing, is it worth it to end up losing our Islam? Is it worth it? That yes, you'll be able to pay this, and you have this phone and have this car, but then on the day of judgment, you don't have anything to show Allah? And then again, remember what I said about thinking that, oh, I've been praying for all these years, and there's a story of a man who worshipped Allah for 500 years. 500 years of worship non-stop. And then when he stood in front of Allah, and Allah told the angels, grant this man Jannah out of my mercy. The man said, hold up, I did not worship 500 years just for you to come and just show me mercy, Ya Allah. I want to use my 500 years of worship to enter Jannah. I think I've earned it. I think I've worked really hard. I got all my paychecks ready. Allah, I want to use them. Allah said, Khair. He told the angels to bring out the scales. And then he told the angels, put his 500 years of worship on one end of the scale, and listen carefully. Put the blessings of his ability to see on one side of the scale, and the blessings that is within his ability to see outweighed 500 years of worship. And then Allah said, take him to Jahannam. It wasn't enough. It was then that he said, oh Allah, please grant me Jannah out of your mercy. 500 years of worship, my brothers and sisters. Some of us have been steady worshiping Allah for how many years? 20, 30, 40 years? And out of these 40 years, how many salat did you have? Where you were standing there, Allahu Akbar. The place I parked this car, I'm not comfortable. How many times did we pray and be thinking about something else? So wallahi, don't think the fasting and the prayers and everything you've done is enough for you on the day of judgment. Wallahi, none of us will enter Jannah unless through Allah's mercy. And then again, how can you be sure that you are worthy, that you deserve Allah's mercy, unless you what? Sacrifice for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So my brothers and sisters, what are you willing to sacrifice for the sake of Allah? For the next few minutes of the khutbah, I will focus on a specific type of sacrifice. A sacrifice that we are not making. And you already know, once you see this face, I have to talk about the Muslim youth. With all due respect, in our Muslim community, those of us with children are making some very risky moves. We are making some very, very risky sacrifices. We are sacrificing the dunya of some of these children for their akhirah. I have students on the weekend. I asked them, why didn't you come on Saturday? And they say, my parents told me that school is more important. That you can memorize Quran even when you're 80 years old. But the school, you need to do it now. This is the wrong sacrifice to make. You're doing it the other way around. You're sacrificing what? Dunya for their akhirah. I told them, with all due respect, go and tell your parents your teacher said this. It is true. You can memorize Quran even when you're 80 years old. But go and ask your parents, Mommy, Daddy, can you promise me that I will live to see tomorrow? And if I don't live to see tomorrow, Mommy, Daddy, will you be there in me with my grave? When Munkar and Nakir come for me, Mommy, Daddy, can you save me from them? When the angels in the grave ask me, Man Rabbuka, Man Nabiyuk, Ma Dinuk, Mommy, Daddy, will you come and answer for me? If the answer is no, with all due respect, my mothers and fathers here, may Allah Ta'ala bless you and continue to bless you for all that you have done. But wallahi, we need to be careful with the decisions that we are making today concerning the Muslim youth. Because not only will we not be there for them in the grave when they are being questioned, but Allah will also ask you. What did Allah say in the Quran? ثُمَّ لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَ إِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ On that day, Allah will ask you about the blessings, the mercies, the favors He gave you. And part of that blessings is your children. I gave you children, and you have the responsibility of making them grow up to become responsible Muslims, become Muslims who contribute to the success and the progress of their community, Muslims who become faithful citizens and contribute to the success and the development of their environment. Look at the Prophet Muhammad SAW. Once he came and he started to preach the message of Islam, it was not only something simple where everybody said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. No, but the hearts of the people changed. The quality of life of the people changed. People stopped drinking, crime reduced, the sexual harassment reduced. Wherever Muslims find themselves, because we hold Quran and the Sunnah, because we hold the light, because we hold the truth, we must bring change to our environments. And Allah will ask us, my brothers and sisters, what change have we brought to our own environments? When you moved into your community 10 years ago, 20 years ago, from that time to now, what improvements? How have we changed our societies? How is the crime rate looking like? The unemployment rate? We don't wait for federal aid to come. No, as Muslims, we come together. We plan, we strategize. How do we improve our community? How do we improve the condition of life for our children? How do we ensure the success of the future of our children? We like to call our children the future leaders of Islam. But if your child is 16 years old, 17 years old, 18 years old, and they read the Quran and they don't know what they're reading, then we need to start asking ourselves, the future leaders of what? And again, all of these things I've mentioned coming together, ensuring the future success of our children, it requires what? Sacrifice. What are you willing to sacrifice for the sake of Allah? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Kun fi dunya ka'annaka gharibun aw abiru sabil." Be in this world, live in this world as if you are a guest or a stranger or somebody who is just traveling through. I'm pretty sure most of us here have traveled before. When you travel and you're at your hotel room, you don't expect yourself to be comfortable like you are at home. You're gonna have to make a little bit of sacrifices. If you travel and you like to enjoy your hot water, but unfortunately in this hotel only the cold water was working, what do you have to do? You have to sacrifice. This should be our mentality. Some of the decisions we are making today, as if you are in this dunya to live forever. The way some of us hold on to money, as if you will live enough till tomorrow to come and spend all of it. Do not spend your whole life. Do not spend all of your energy on something that you don't even have guarantee that you will live tomorrow to use. What are you willing to sacrifice for the sake of Allah? We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who sacrifice. We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who do not attach our hearts to this dunya. We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who will be ready with a good resume on the day of judgment. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Alhamdulillah, 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 القائل له معقبات من بين يديه ومن خلفه يحفظونه من أمر الله إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم وإذا أراد الله بقوم سوءا فلا مرد له وما له من دونه من وال. Alhamdulillah, today we spoke about sacrifice. We just celebrated Eid, and we know that Eid was inspired to commemorate, to remember the sacrifice that our Prophet Ibrahim was willing to make. He was willing to sacrifice his son Ismail, whom he loved so much, for the pleasure of Allah. My brothers and sisters, my question to you today: what are you willing to sacrifice for the sake of Allah? What are you willing to give away for the sake of Allah? And you know, this is not 1,400 years ago when they had Badr, Uhud, and all these great battles where you could go and give your life in the cause of Allah. Today the jihad is different. For some of us right now, the greatest jihad we are facing is the jihad of nafs. And please understand, nobody understands your situation more than Allah does. Sometimes we tend to forget how merciful Allah is. Yes, it takes a lot to achieve many of the things that is expected of us in Islam. However, it's not about the destination, but about the journey you took to get there. On the Day of Judgment, Allah will not look at, oh, you know, how many kufis you have, and no. But the journey that you had to go through to even get at that stage. For the sisters, Allah will not look at how many hijabs you have in your closet, but rather the sacrifices you made to reach that decision where I would sacrifice the desire to present myself beautifully to the whole world and reserve that beauty for the sake of Allah. That journey, that sacrifice. And I say this all the time to people who I talk to, and you know I'm struggling with my Islam right now and it's really tough for me. It's the little things that you have no idea that Allah might look at and grant you Jannah. You might be driving on your way home from work. The radio was bumping music and you was feeling it. But then for the sake of Allah, you turned it off and you put on Quran. And you started to recite alongside with the reciter in the Quran, in the recitation. That was a little piece of sacrifice you made. And wallahi, you have no idea, that little sacrifice might be what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might look at and grant you Jannah. You go to work, they're having a party, the party looks fun. But you know, if I go to this party, I will see, or I will drink, or I will eat that which I am not supposed to do as a Muslim. And then you what? You made that sacrifice. You said, no, I'm going to go home. I haven't prayed the Asr. I haven't prayed Dhuhr. I'm going to go home. I'm going to pray. That right there was a sacrifice. And my parents, let us help the young ones understand. Because I've mentioned this before. Wallahi, the Muslim youth are suffering. 2019, to maintain your Islamic identity in school is one of the hardest things that we will ever have to face in our lives. To maintain your Islamic identity on social media, to see everybody else dressing like this, talking like this, and you're telling me I can't do that? The Muslim youth are really suffering. However, one of the things we can do is help them understand how much their sacrifice is worth. Again, it's the little things. I have students where I have to tell them, you should not be cursing when you speak. They say, what, wait? You can't curse? I didn't know that. But it's so hard, sometimes the F word is just so, no excuses. And I understand it's hard for you. You grew up in an environment that uses the F word. All the music you've been hearing in your life, F word. When you go outside, F word. In the train, F word. In the bus, the F word. When you turn on the TV, the F word. Maybe even sometimes your own teachers, they use the F word. And you, just a simple 16, 15-year-old boy, I'm expecting you not to curse. But wallahi, if you make that sacrifice for the sake of Allah, the way Allah will bless you, you have no idea. And that goes for all of us too. The little things that we sacrifice for the sake of Allah, Allah will use that to bless us. And on the Day of Judgment, we can stand proudly and beat our chest and say, I had the opportunity to do so and so, but Allah, for your sake, I decided to sacrifice and do this instead. When we have this, that is then we can be part of فَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِيَمِينِهِ فَسَوْفَ يُحَاسَبُ حِسَابًا يَسِيرًا. Our hisab will be made easy. When they say present your kitab, you will present it with pride. We do not want to be among those when it is time to give out all the things you have done in your life, because it said it will be handed to your hand. They hide the hand behind their back because they don't want to receive their kitab. They don't want to see what is inside. Why? Because they did not sacrifice for the sake of Allah. So please, as you leave this masjid, don't wait. You know what? Maybe next week I'm gonna start. No. And for the young people here, we need to stop thinking that, oh, you know what? When I go up and I become married, and when I'm 30, 40 years old, that's when I'm gonna start praying and become a good Muslim. If you didn't do it today, what's gonna make you do it tomorrow? To my parents, if they are not praying today, if they are not holding on to Islam like this today, what is going to make them hold on to it tomorrow? So we need to start to sacrifice. We need to sacrifice the time. Start spending more time with your children. Sacrifice. Start telling them how much you love them and that you're proud of them and that you understand things are not easy, but I have faith in you. My son, my daughter, I know you can do it. I know you can go up and become a successful Muslim who fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I believe in you. And for some of us, it might take a lot to be able to even say that to your children. But then again, sacrifice. We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who sacrifice. We ask that Allah ta'ala make things easy for us. Please, let us learn to sacrifice for the sake of Allah. And it starts with the little steps. You usually reserve this time to watch movies. Start to use it to do something more constructive. Start to use it to, read more Quran. Watch more lectures if you have to. If you're a parent, you use this time for this and that. Start to call your children. When you're about to eat, let them put food for you and your son or you and your daughter to eat together in the same bowl. All of these little sacrifices, wallahi, if they continue, the consistency, they will grow and become a fruit that everybody can benefit from. And a fruit that you will benefit from on the Day of Judgment. We ask that Allah SWT make us able to make these sacrifices. We ask that Allah SWT make these easy for all of us. We ask that Allah SWT bless and continue to bless our families. We ask that Allah SWT allow us to put our pride aside to come together and sacrifice and plan for the future of our communities. We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us Muslims not only of word but Muslims of action. We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us Muslims who do not do only the Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu but also do the wa amilus salihat. We ask Allah Ta'ala make us among those who will be able to sacrifice in this world so we can be successful in the hereafter. Each and every single one of us right now have some problems in their lives, something that you are struggling with. Wallahi, Allah Ta'ala is aware of your situation. We ask that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, with the power of kun fayakun, that He deals with these problems for us. We have Muslims suffering around the world, Muslims in Syria, Muslims in Kashmir, Muslims in Sudan, Muslims in China, and everywhere else in the world, even Muslims in America who are struggling a battle to make just to live a comfortable life as a Muslim. We ask that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala make them successful. We ask that Allah Ta'ala make them victorious. And we ask that the pain that they are going through is something that will be beneficial for them on the Day of Judgment. We ask Allah Ta'ala that the pain that we are going through as Muslim communities in the United States of America becomes something that we can use to our advantage on the Day of Judgment. We ask that Allah Ta'ala heal us all. It is my understanding that we have a lot of people in our community who are sick, a lot of people who are not doing so well, and that we have lost a lot of people both here and also back home. We ask that Allah Ta'ala grant the sick good health and continue to give them good health, and grant us all good health, more years of good health and more years of wealth, inshallah. We ask that Allah Ta'ala have mercy on the souls of those we have lost. We ask that Allah Ta'ala make things easy for them in the grave. We ask that Allah Ta'ala forgive them all of their sins and grant them all the highest level of Jannah. We ask that Allah forgive all of our sins and grant us the higher level of Jannah. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. And please remember what I said about sacrifice. What are we willing to sacrifice for the sake of Allah? When they say fi sabilillah, this is one of those moments. Please sacrifice for the sake of Allah. Donate and donate generously. I say this every week and I'm going to say it every week. Some of us think we are smart. We have one pocket that has the dollars and the coins, and then one pocket that has the 10s and the 20s and the 50s. So when they say fi sabilillah, they know that if I put my hand in the dollars and the coins, I'm not going to take out anything too big. For the sake of Allah, let us sacrifice and put our hands in the 10s and the 20s. Inshallah, there's another donation that I would like the Jama'ah to make, but I will make that announcement after we finish praying. So please stay around after the prayers to hear the announcements, inshallah. We ask Allah Ta'ala increase us and continue to increase us. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ وَقِنَا عَذَابَ الْقَبْرِ وَقِنَا عَذَابَ الْقَبْرِ وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ وقنا عذاب القبر ودخلنا الجنة مع الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين. اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا ورزقا حلالا واسعا طيبا وعملا متقبلا نستغفرك ونتوب إليه. اللهم صل على نبينا محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. أقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
استووا واعتدلوا وتراصوا. If your cell phones are on, please turn them off or put them on silent. And please make space for people coming in the back. Jazakumullah khair. Stop. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. فلا تطع المكذبين ودوا لو تدهن فيدهنون ولا تطع كل حلاف مهين هماز مشاء بنميم مناع للخير معتد أثيم عتل بعد ذلك زنيم أن كان ذا مال وبنين إذا تتلى عليه آياتنا قال أساطير الأولين سنسمه على الخرطوم سنسمه على الخرطوم إنا بلوناهم كما بلونا أصحاب الجنة إذ أقسموا ليصرمنها مصبحين ولا يستثنون فطاف عليها طائف من ربك وهم نائمون فأصبحت كالصريم فتنادوا مصبحين أن يغدوا على حرثكم إن كنتم صارمين فانطلقوا وهم يتخافتون ألا يدخلنها اليوم عليكم مسكين وغدوا على حرد قادرين فلما رأوها قالوا إنا لضالون بل نحن محرومون قال أوسطهم ألم أقل لكم لولا تسبحون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. في سبيل الله. في سبيل الله. Please donate and donate generously. Inshallah, may Allah increase us all. May Allah accept our prayers. Inshallah, I am part of a Muslim youth group at Masjid Siddiqui in the Bronx. We have a group called Seekers of Knowledge. It's a group of young people, and we come together and we create events for the young Muslims specifically in the New York City area. So very soon, in about 2 weeks, we'll be having a Quran competition for children. This is for children between the ages of 7 and 14. And inshallah, we are requesting donations from our communities. Even though we are in the Bronx, we still want to extend the donations to everybody else in the city. So again, after you give for the Masjid Fi Sabilillah, if you wish to donate for the Quran competition, you can come and give it to me personally. If you don't have anything on you right now, but you wish to donate, inshallah, you can see the imams of this masjid and they will hold it for us, inshallah. The competition is in 2 weeks. We haven't picked the location yet, but inshallah, we will also come back and disclose the location once it is available. And also, if you know some kids between the ages of 7 to 14 who you think can participate, you can also see me, inshallah, and we will get you a registration form where you can use it to inshallah get them registered to participate. There are some very good prizes in there, and we want to just encourage the Muslim youth this summer to engage in reading the Quran and getting the chance to be rewarded for their efforts as well. So again, if you wish to donate, you can come and see me or give it to the imams when you are ready. And if you wish to enroll somebody between the ages of 7 and 14, both boys and girls, if you wish to enroll them to participate, you can come and see me, Jazakumullah khair. You can come and see me and we will register them, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much. If you need more information, I'll be sitting here, inshallah. Thank you very much. May Allah Ta'ala accept our prayers. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Please. Peace up in that. Sule, he came back. Africa was good, man. Peace up in life. Peace up in life. Sule, I thought you were gonna stay there. Look how you look, man. That's nothing. Well, man, you come stay for 12 months again. Double. Ah, Diamond. Peace up in life. Sudah ada keys, ada audience. Imam, is good? You don't say it's coming? It's not coming. Who give you those clothes? Daddy. Daddy is here. You look for your daddy? Daddy is here. No. No, I didn't. No. Okay. في سبيل الله. سبيل الله. سبيل الله. سبيل الله. سبيل الله. Now it's okay. It's okay. في سبيل الله. 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 سبيل الله. سبيل الله. في 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 سبيل الله. Hey, Idris, do you need now? We have food. We have food to eat.
Brothers, we have food, so I want to stay and join us, inshallah. Let's have food for all of us. Inshallah, this is food for all of us. So stay and join with us.
Before I call the doctor, too much doctor. Don't go nowhere. Too much doctor. I gotta call one doctor. I got one thing. Ada